All Snowed In by J.C. Jones. The school bell rang to start the day. All the children came in from play. They hung their coats upon their hooks before heading to class with all their books. The teacher stood and finished her drink as into the room the children did slink. Hurry up, children, and quickly find your seat. The register won't take long to complete. Mrs. Davis rubbed her brow, knowing she'd survived somehow. The last day of term was such a chore, but there were barely 6 hours more. It's assembly this morning in the main hall. Line up, please, quickly, one and all. Off they all trudged in single file, like a meandering crocodile. On the polished floor the children sat in rows, most sitting still, but some wiggling their toes. All the teachers stood still at the rear, waiting for the headmaster to finally appear. Mrs. Davis leant back upon the big window sill. Outside it was very bitter, and her bum got a chill. She turned around, and what did she see? It was starting to snow, albeit gently. Telling herself that she must not worry. After all, it was just a little flurry. Having sung a hymn and recited a prayer, everyone was eager to be getting out of there. But the headmaster, he waffled on for ages. His end-of-term speech was so many pages. The speech was supposed to be funny and just a little deep, but Mrs. Davis noticed that half her class were fast asleep. With assembly over, back to class they did go, yet all the children had now seen the snow. They were all looking forward to snow at the next break. Letting them out, well, that would be a mistake. Children, as it's the last day, I have for you a treat. She hit play on the DVD and quickly took her seat. At 11 o'clock sharp, the bell did sound. Mrs. Davis went outside and took a look around. Standing there astonished at what she had found, there was 3 inches of snow lying on the ground. Slightly startled, she headed back to her class. Indoor play, she announced to the assembled mass. She made her way to go and see the headmaster. However, other teachers had already got there faster. It's just a little snow, and I'm sure that it will melt. Let's just deal with the hand that we've been dealt. Heading back to class, Mrs. Davis was filled with dread, wishing that she'd called in sick and stayed in bed instead. The noise she could hear before she even opened the door. Still she was surprised by the vision she saw. She couldn't quite believe it, and she very nearly cried. Someone had opened the window and let all the snow inside. She did not know where to begin. Was there any way that she could win? As she shut the window and let out a big sigh, why had she come to work? Why? Oh, why? With the snow cleared and everything back in the right places, staring out from behind her desk at their innocent little faces. Inside she was fuming at this hand that she'd been dealt, looking at their little faces that butter wouldn't melt. She told them all how naughty they had truly been to open up the windows and let the snow fall on in. Shutting all the blinds, she restarted the DVD. She could hardly wait for it to be 3:15. Just before lunch, she decided to take a peek outside, but she couldn't push open the door, no matter how hard she tried. Over to the window she then did go, but behind the blind there was just snow. Children, be good, I'll be back in 2. There's just a little task that I must do. She scurried to the headmaster's office, but he was not in there. Just an empty coffee cup and a long vacated chair. She found the headmaster pacing in a corridor, looking a lot more worried than he was before. Mrs. Davis, the snow is now over 5 foot deep. Thus inside the children we must keep. The school bell rung to signal that lunch was to begin. The corridors quickly filled with children chattering. They all headed to eat lunch inside the dining hall, now where the snow was deeper than they were tall. The headmaster addressed everyone gathered in the room. He tried to be positive and lift away all the gloom. Children, don't panic. I'm certain everything will be fine. I'm sure it will all have melted before it's home time. The children were okay. The panic there was mild, but in the staff room, the panic was running wild. Mrs. Davis made herself a coffee and listened to the din. The teachers couldn't believe the mess that they were in. The headmaster told them that he'd phoned the fire brigade, but there was too much snow, and so in their station they had stayed. He told them he'd then phoned his friend who worked at the army camp, but he told them that their tanks don't work when the weather is too damp. As the afternoon begun, it started snowing even more. There was less chance of getting home than there had been before. At afternoon break, the headmaster, he did speak. The snow is so deep, we could be here for a week. I phoned my brother, who is on the police force. Their cars are all broken. All they have left is a horse. I phoned an old friend, who is in the RNLI. He said, when the snow melts, then a rescue we will try. With the teachers' morale dropping to an all-time low, their headmaster was hoping this was as low as it could go. Then all the teachers' hearts, they were absolutely sunk, as they realised all the coffee had actually been drunk. The school bell rung to end the school day, but inside the school they all had to stay. Everyone gathered in the hall, trying to have some fun. Mrs. Davis missed her family, and she wasn't the only one. But all the teachers tried to be positive and put on a little smile. They all now accepted they would be here quite a while. The school dinner ladies had cooked up a most wonderful tea, and for the teachers they'd managed to find a little more coffee. As they looked out of the window at the sea of white, everyone realised that they were sleeping here tonight. The janitor found blankets and handed them all out. They'd at least be warm, of that there was no doubt. As the night came and time ticked by, some of the little ones did start to cry. Now, little ones, set those tears to dry, and I shall sing you a lullaby. The janitor sung songs as they all started to fall asleep, stuck inside the school with the snow 10 foot deep. Mrs. Davis thought of how at least the day had not been boring as she listened to the sound of 200 children snoring. She tucked everyone in as around the room she crept, noticing the strange shapes in which they all slept. Eventually she curled up in a tight little ball as everyone slept inside the dining hall. As dawn broke the very next day, there was a rumbling noise not far away, getting closer and louder and making the floor shake. Soon the vibration shook everyone awake. Mrs. Davis ventured outside to see what she could see, gazing out from the school roof, looking for the mystery. She strained her eyes. Just what could it be? Was that Farmer Giles in his ancient JCB? Cutting a path to the school through the snow, Farmer Giles and his JCB did bravely go. He had his enormous trailer attached to the rear. She couldn't believe it. He's heading here. As he got closer still and the snow abated, inside Mrs. Davis felt totally elated. He pulled up at the school and yelled, "All aboard!" Mrs. Davis ran downstairs. "We're saved!" she roared. Everyone wrapped up as toasty as could be, each person finding the trailer surprisingly comfy. Farmer Giles set off charging through the sea of snow, taking everybody anywhere that they did wish to go. Farmer Giles spotted a red van with a royal livery. "I'm Postman Tom, and I've got a special delivery." So Farmer Giles was being the perfect snowy host, as he'd managed to deliver nearly all the post. With all the children safely home with their dads and mums, the postie and the janitor at the pub with all their chums. With all the other teachers safely with their loving families, everyone had been dropped off, including the dinner ladies. Thus it was finally Mrs. Davis's turn to disembark, alighting from Farmer Giles' snow-faring ark. Mrs. Davis did not know what to say to the farmer who had saved the day. "Farmer Giles, I just don't know where to begin. You saved us all when we were snowed in." Thanks for listening.